Yo, shout out to everybody. Right now, people are talking. So it looks like Kamala Harris, she ended up doing, I think, an interview on The View, which, I'll say this. One thing I do like, and this is me, being fair, I like that Kamala Harris is stepping out and doing more interviews. I will say that. But, the softball questions that's being asked, like when she's going, and doing an interview on The View is kind of silly, if you ask me. I think the best interview that she's had so far is the 60 Minutes interview. We ended up talking about that. We reviewed the footage, you know what I mean? We gave our commentary on it. And guess what? You know what I mean? We ended up getting hit with a copyright. It wasn't a strike or anything like that. YouTube gave me some options on, you know what I mean, fixing that situation, but it's just like, yo, like, what are y'all doing? What y'all doing, bro? Y'all don't want nobody reviewing y'all interview. And like, I'll say this, y'all actually had a pretty good interview. And it wasn't like, if they would have did like a copyright claim on the entire video, I would have been like, all right. But it was like one specific part in the video that they didn't want to be seen. And it was like a real small part. And it's like a little part where she ends up getting caught up a little bit. You know what I mean? And that's like the part that they ended up wanting, you know what I mean, to strip the monetization for, you know what I mean? But, I ended up working with YouTube, and shout out to them. They ended up helping me out. Shout out to YouTube. Now, people have some complaints and some gripes, and what's been going on with Kamala Harris. Let's listen to Mr. Government DeSantis. He's basically firing back at Kamala Harris. It says, it's not about you. Let's listen to what he got to say. Hold on, let me turn.
Well, I think as Janet.
Let me turn this. Put my headset on. Listen to what's going on.
As mentioned, this is tracking very close to that Tampa Bay area. I would note that anyone on the Western Peninsula of Florida, just wherever that eye wall is scheduled to go across now on these cones, that can shift. I think right now they have it just south of Tampa Bay in Manatee County. It could shift further north, and it could shift further south in terms of having the most immediate impact.
One thing I do want to say about Governor DeSantis of Florida is I like that he's stepping out, you know what I mean? And he's giving like good commentary, and he's letting people know, hey, I'm your governor. I'm out here. I'm working for you. This is what we're doing. This is the company. You know what I mean? Like the agencies we're trying to work with, we're calling for a state of emergency, trying to get people to evacuate. Like he's coming forward and saying a lot. He's not leaving anything to be speculated about. He's like, yo, I'm your governor, and I'm about to show you this how I work. And that's what I like about this guy. Shout out to him.
Impacts, but that Tampa Bay area is very low lying. Pinellas County, where I grew up, is surrounded by water. It's a peninsula. It is just vulnerable to storm surge generally. This is a storm that's going to be hitting sometime Wednesday night, early Thursday morning. The water is already going to be high with the tide. So that's a huge, huge concern. Now, it had gotten up to 180 mile an hour when it was going towards the Yucatan Peninsula in the Gulf of Mexico. That is an incredibly powerful storm. It has weakened since then. It may strengthen today. The forecasts are that it will make land.
Hey, shout out to Ezra Brooks in here. Yo, I ain't got no notifications, you know what I mean? But you in here, shout out to you.
Fall weaker than it is today. Let's pray that that's the case. The surge is going to be a big enough problem, and hopefully the winds are manageable. Most of the buildings in Florida are going to be able to handle a Category 3 storm. So there's a lot going on. And oh, by the way, we just had a Category 4 storm impact a lot of people up the west coast of Florida. One of the issues that we saw in places like the Pinellas County beaches and Manatee County beaches was there was a lot of debris. And these local governments have to pick it up. They have contractors that do it, but it wasn't being done fast enough. So I did this weekend. I took all of our state agencies, any truck we had anywhere in the state who's involved in normal missions, we diverted it over to those barrier islands. We're doing a 24/7 debris mission. So we've been able in 48 hours with our state assets be able to do as much debris removal as any of the contractors who've been doing this for almost 2 weeks. Wow. We actually had to pry open one of the landfills in Pinellas County because it wasn't operating 24/7 as my executive order did. But we've made a big dent in that. And the issue is if you have this debris laying out, it can become projectiles. And then with the storm surge, it creates more damage. So it's very difficult. We're going to get hit basically 2 weeks on the dot from getting hit by Helene. But we felt it was important that we did that. We also have now close to 40,000 utility linemen in the state of Florida are en route. And remember, there's a lot of these workers.
Yo, he said he got 40,000 utility linemen out there. Omni said, Florida going through it right now, bruh. Prayers up for sure. I got some family out there, and salute to Piper Boy. Been on your grind. Shout out to you, bro. Yo, I seen, it's like people on, let me show you this video, bro. I'm gonna have to share this to my Instagram. Yo, this is insane. Like, the evacuation is like insane, bro. But I didn't know, right? Yeah, so I'm sharing it on Instagram. Then I'm about to yo, they got all kind of restrictions on sharing stuff. Like, what's going on, bro? This is crazy. Like, as soon as you try to share something, it's like, oh, well, you know, they automatically, like, right up under the video. Trying to tell you something. Like, get out of here, bro. All that sanitizing the internet is getting on my nerves. All right, let me show y'all what's going on. Hold on. Let's see if it uploaded. All right, can y'all see this? Yo, this is crazy. Look at all that water.
High, heavy winds right now. The current is ridiculous. We're basically marching up a river. Tide is rising very quick.
Very quick. It's getting hard to walk. Water's almost past the benches.
It's up to my knees right now.
Tampa General is doing well.
All right, like, bro, I'm not a big fan of big bodies of water. Like, look at that barrier. And look how high the water is. That's insane.
High, heavy winds right now. The current is ridiculous. We're basically marching up a river. Tide is rising very quick.
Very quick. It's getting hard to walk. Water's almost past the benches.
It's up to my knees right now.
Tampa General is doing well.
It's a whole leg workout.
Yeah, but yeah, that's a leg workout right here.
Show them the bench.
Look at the bench.
Almost underwater.
There's like fish nibbling at our feet.
Keep in mind, full high tide doesn't come.
Yeah, we got a couple hours till high tide.
This is not even high tide.
It's gonna rise another foot.
Yeah, 2 feet. They said 8 feet. I don't know. Lieutenant Dan, prayers to him. He's taking a long nap, so we'll see him tomorrow. Yeah.
Lieutenant Dan was in great spirits.
Great spirits.
He was not a.
Yeah, man, you never know what's going on, like, out there in the world, man. Some people don't have to deal with, the things that some people have to deal with, other people are fortunate enough not to be in that situation. Like, that is literal insanity what these people are going through, bro.
That are still in Georgia, North Carolina, and those places. We've had to bring them in all the way from California, so they're going to be ready to do the power restoration mission, and then we'll have 8,000 Florida National Guard when the storm hits. All our urban search and rescue, our Florida State Guard, Fish and Wildlife, all that will be there, ready to go. So we're prepared for this. This is not easy. I think it's been very taxing on our citizens to have to go through this. Just as you're starting to pick up the pieces from Helene, now you see another monster storm bearing down. But we'll get through this. I think the important thing today is you still have time to execute your plan. You do not have to get on the interstate and drive hundreds of miles. There are shelters open all throughout the state of Florida. In your county, there's shelters that are in higher ground and that are hurricane proof. So if you don't want to get on the interstate, you don't have to. And there's a wide variety of options. So
yeah, somebody, what's up, Chrissy? It's back. Sugar Black said a lot of people retired of Florida. They older. Yeah, exactly, man. Like, I don't want to live around no big bodies of water at all, bro. Not like that. Maybe a lake, not no ocean. Like, I don't play with the ocean. I don't understand what is the fascination with it. Like, I don't know what is in there. Like, I've been in the ocean probably about like 10 times, but like, I mean, like, I don't want to do it no more, bro. Like, ocean ain't no joke. It is no joke. Like, look at this. This lady is supposed to evacuate. She didn't even evacuate. Come on, bro.
And I can't sleep. Anxiety through the roof. So I don't know. The storm supposed to touch down, but Bayshore is already at waist level. That's not good. The storm haven't even got close, and it's already at waist level. So that is definitely a bad sign. That means when the storm do get here, all that's gonna be extremely high and extremely flooded. The area I'm in, they told us to have enough food for 3 days, enough water for 3 days to survive without power. I will say if we go without power, I'm gonna try to do like a
Hey, y'all, if y'all can hit the like button, like I'm out of notifications, so hit the like button, it'd be appreciated. That's gonna push the video out more. Because we was wild, man. We was wilding in the other video. We was talking about Jaguar, right? I think that video got like 70-some thousand views. Shout out to y'all.
barbecue maybe in my backyard. I do got a lot of water. I did put water in the
What do y'all think about this girl? She needs to evacuate, but she decided not to evacuate. Some people may not have anywhere to go. Some people may not have the money, the means to evacuate. Some people may just be in a state of disbelief. But, bro, when they tell you to evacuate, you need to listen.
It is 5:10. I can't sleep. Anxiety through the roof. So I don't know. The storm supposed to touch down, but Bayshore is already at waist level. That's not good. The storm haven't even got close, and it's already at waist level. So that is definitely a bad sign. That means when the storm do get here, all that's gonna be extremely high and extremely flooded. The area I'm in, they told us to have enough food for 3 days, enough water for 3 days to survive without power. I will say if we go without power, I'm gonna try to do like a barbecue maybe in my backyard. I do got a lot of water. I did put water in the freezer.
So how you about to do a barbecue in your backyard if it's flooded? And they're already saying it's waist deep. Like, what are you using, like a super grill?
To survive without power. I will say if we go without power, I'm gonna try to do like a barbecue maybe in my backyard. I do got a lot of water. I did put water in the freezer, so if my
Yo, hey, Clarence Peak said, ocean is literally top op. Respect the ocean, man, all of the way. Prayers to the residents of Florida that is still stuck. And yeah, you should evacuate expeditiously.
my power go out, I could throw out in the sink to keep it like good and cold. I got bread, meat. Y'all, I'm so scared. My anxiety is up to here. I cannot sleep. I cannot rest. I'm overthinking. I am ready for this to be done and over. And then I think me seeing the reporter cry is like just top tier for me. I got 3 children. I do got their life jackets. We are ready to survive. And I'm just in mama mode right now, bitch. Like, I'm gonna have to make sure these kids is okay.
Man, check this out.
In Florida. This is the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. You are in a mandatory evacuation zone. Please leave now. We anticipate
That is scary.
significant storm surge and intense wind moving into the area as the storm impacts our community. The time to leave is now.
Damn, that's scary as fuck.
Sheriff's Office. Mandatory evacuation has been ordered for your area. Please leave now.
I don't know what y'all waiting on. A lot of times it be our own people, and I know it's other communities too, but it be our own people that gotta wait to the very, 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 very last minute before they start to take this serious and evacuate. Get the heck out of there. What is you doing? No.
Bro, you got the governor telling you to get up out of there, and you just sitting there. Like, yo, if I'm this police officer bugging, bro. I'd be like, I quit, I'm out. Like, I'm not about to be like, nah, bro.
Now, we anticipate
That is scary.
significant storm surge and intense wind moving into the area as the storm impacts our community. The time to leave is now.
Damn, that's scary as fuck.
Sheriff's Office. Mandatory evacuation has been ordered for your area. Please leave now.
I don't know what y'all waiting on. A lot of times it be our own people, and I know it's other communities too, but it be our
Yeah, Water Chicken 0330. He said not everyone can afford to leave. Folks are stuck on the side of the roads in Florida. And yes, some people are living paycheck to paycheck. There may be, this could really mess people up, bro.
Our own people that gotta wait to the very, 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 very.
It's a lot of like white people that wait till the last minute too, bro. Like, but y'all gotta stop doing that.
So if you are in one of those surge prone areas, take action now. We have all day today. As we get into tomorrow, you're going to start seeing effects most likely in Wednesday afternoon.
And in fact, Governor, I was down in Florida yesterday, and I know that a lot of the stores are running out of water. The gas stations are running low on gas. A lot of people who were impacted by Helene actually lost their cars. And so there are lines out the door at car rental places for people trying to get out. And as well, you've got your emergency services people, and the cops are going door to door in the A-zone evacuation areas, saying you've got to get out. Because once this storm hits, you guys are not going to be able to go and save them. They've got to save themselves by getting out now, right?
Right.
Yeah, and so on the transportation, because you raise a good point, the counties are providing transportation for folks that don't have it. And then the state has entered into an agreement with Uber. So if you need a ride to a shelter, you can go on Uber. There's a code for Milton Relief. And so take advantage of that. Absolutely. And you should do that. But yes.
Yo, that was a really good idea about Uber to do that. Have a Milton Relief. That's fire. That's really dope that they did that.
You run from the water and you hide from the wind. If we end up with a Category 3 storm, most of the places in Florida, particularly with our building codes, if you hunker down, in and of itself, you'll probably be okay. But the water, you just can't contend with Mother Nature. If you have 10 feet of that surging in, it is incredibly destructive. It is not something that you want to mess with.
Bro, let me show you this. The water. That's how bad it is, bro. This is crazy.
Oh my God!
Yo, is this real? That's crazy, bro.
Options for you. You have time to be able to do it, and make sure that you are safe in your family. And oh, by the way, the pets too. All counties and shelters, they have at least one pet-friendly shelter. We've actually evacuated some of the pet shelters where you've had abandoned pets. We've moved them to safer shelters in other parts of the state. So there's contingencies for all this stuff. We're going to have damage. People are going to lose homes. We're going to have businesses. We're going to have destruction of infrastructure. But we can fix all that.
You guys
can't fix if you decide to stay in 10 feet of storm surge and you die.
You've mastered the process there. Everybody gives you credit for it because, you guys do such a great job with handling this. But we're learning that FEMA now is reporting that there's a severe shortage of disaster workers. This is also coming with, they're saying they're going to need more money. They may run out of money in November. So what are your thoughts on that? And are you guys set in Florida to be able to cover your people, even if FEMA won't have the money?
Well, we have what we need right now. And so FEMA, we work with them. Some of the urban search and rescue, a lot of those people are in Florida anyways, but we're also bringing them in from around the country. We're also working with DOD to supplement the fuel mission. So we have all our requests have been honored pre-storm, and we anticipate after the storm. I don't know what Congress is going to have to do going forward, but I will want, because Steve also raised a good point about the fuel. So the fuel situation is in Florida. It's not a supply issue, it's a distribution issue because the stations are running through it faster than they normally do. We have Florida Highway Patrol escorting these fuel trucks into the gas stations. We have 1.5 million gallons that are either in Florida or en route in reserve. Our port of Tampa is still open. It's still going to be receiving fuel. So I think it's more of just when they run out, you got to replenish it. But we have stocked spare fuel in the state of Florida, and we'll continue to do that leading up to the.
Yo, this dude is smart. What's his name? DeSantis? This is leadership. Y'all see what I'm saying? He wasted no time. He's like, yo, you not about to, like, when I move into my election, y'all not about to say I didn't do anything. He's doing, like, he did multiple different appearances. He's mobilized. He's working with different companies, with the government. Like, bro, this DeSantis dude is the truth, man. This dude is the truth. He like, yo, you're not about to come to our, you know what I mean, our state with all this crime. Like, he getting tough on crime. Like, bro, I like this dude. I don't know about y'all. I like this dude, man. I like what he doing.
Storm, and we anticipate you could have some major interruptions at the port of Tampa, which is one of the places where we get a lot of our fuel from. And so we will work around that as needed.
Governor, I know Kamala Harris called you selfish. She said she's tried to contact you to talk to you about hurricane relief. And I know that you've said, I think you said she didn't try to contact you. We want to get your response. But first, listen to what she said. Well, we don't have the sound, but she said, you know, moment of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone calls himself a leader, says they're going to put politics aside and put the people first. People are in desperate need of support right now and playing political games at this moment in these.
Somebody said he warned the people about Helene also.
Crisis situations. These are the height of emergency situations. It's just utterly irresponsible, and it's selfish, and it's about political gamemanship. What's your response?
Well, I think she should look in the mirror. We've been on an emergency footing for 2 weeks straight, round the clock, 24/7. We've been working, my office, our division.
And that, like, bro, him saying that and we seeing him working, he's not just saying that. So he's got more weight to what he's saying right now.
Of Emergency Management, helping people prepare for Hurricane Helene, helping effectuate rescues of people after Hurricane Helene, helping people pick up the pieces of their lives after Helene, and then have to also turn around and prepare for major impacts and maybe even more impacts from Hurricane Milton, be able to have rescue personnel ready to help people, and then, of course, help with the power restoration, all these things to do. So that's been my sole focus. My focus has not been on dealing with Kamala Harris. I saw the news report. I didn't know she tried to contact me. But I'd also say it's not about you, Kamala. Right. It's about the people of Florida.
Talk to her! Talk to her, DeSantis! Wait a minute! Sorry. It's not about you. We not about to play politics. I got to make sure my state is covered. Bro, this dude the truth, bro.
My focus is exactly where it should be. And I can tell you this, I've worked on these hurricanes under both President Trump and President Biden. Neither of them ever tried to politicize it. She has never called on any of the storms we've had since she's been vice president until apparently now. Why all of a sudden is she trying to parachute in and inject herself when she's never shown any interest in the past? We know it's because of politics. We know it's because of her campaign. I have zero time to entertain these political games. We're going to continue to do what we need to do to prepare and respond to what may be one of the most damaging storms in the history of the United States.
Oh my God, bro. Look, the Howard Stern, I can't play this, right? But I can at least show y'all this.
Why are you eating for breakfast Raisin Bran?
I can't play this, but I can show you this. Y'all gonna be like, what in the world? Kamala Harris shares stories of her mother on the Howard Stern show. You got all of this going on, and she really doing this again? Vice President Kamala Harris shares stories of her mother. Softball type. Then she ended up going on a View, and I don't even know if I can play that. Right? Super liberal. They start off disrespecting Trump on the View. Ridiculous. Sad. Nobody wants to listen to that. Like, yo, so yeah, like Stephen A. Smith, she's doing a lot of interviews, right? Because I seen what you said. And this ain't dissing you, Stephen A. Smith. But Stephen A. Smith was trying to say, oh, well, she's out there. And that's all I want to hear is she out there. Like, bro, she out there doing softball interviews. Other than the 60 Minutes interview, everything else was soft. And let me tell you about that 60 Minutes interview. The only reason why they asked her any question that was remotely close to anything, like, you know what I mean, like pressed her a little bit, is because they trying to get Donald Trump on there. And then when they get Donald Trump on there, what you think they gonna do? So yeah, they gonna have her up there. They gonna ask her a couple questions. It was super edited, but they gonna ask her a couple questions. When they get Trump up there, oh, they going off. Believe you me, they going off. This is ridiculous. Howard Stern. Howard Stern, you just wasted everybody's time with that, bro.
To be in the Motor City. It's great to be in the state of Michigan, and I believe that it is in just 28 days we're going to turn the state of Michigan red, take back this country, and make Donald Trump the next president of the United States.
Somebody said, I love the View. Of course you do.
Now, we are in one of the great capitals of American craftsmanship and American manufacturing. That's one of the things I love about the city of Detroit. That's one of the things I love about this community is for a generation, for many generations, the people in the state of Michigan, the people in the city of Detroit made great American products. They were proud of it, and they had every single right to be. And I've already met some auto workers here today. I'm sure there are many auto workers in the audience with us right now. We're proud of you. We're grateful for you. And I promise you that when Donald Trump is back in the White House, auto workers in the city of Detroit are going to have an ally once again, not somebody who's trying to destroy their jobs like Kamala Harris, but is going to fight for their jobs every single day.
Bro, do y'all realize they're trying to do away with the voter ID in California and different states? And they got an influx of immigrants. We literally watched, you know what I mean, and reacted to, what was it, like she was being questioned, Kamala Harris, and the guy from 60 Minutes was like, yo, immigration, you know, it's like quadruple within the last couple years of people just coming in here, flooding in. And, you know, with that has been like an influx of fentanyl. And she was like, oh, well, we've cut it by half. So wait a minute. So there's more fentanyl coming here because of this administration? Is that what? So when I heard Trump say that in the debate, I was like, nah, Trump bugging. But when she basically verified everything, which is insane, I'm like, yo, it's a lot people are not paying attention to. They don't care about you or me. Like, they don't care about that. They're trying to get people in here from different countries so that they can go ahead and just vote. And you know who they're voting for. Whoever's making it easier for them to cross that border is what it is. FEMA can't get nothing right. She's doing photo ops with FEMA. We're seeing videos of people on TikTok. Like, we've seen them. We watched them. Like, yo, like, they turning people away. Like, why are they turning people away that's, like, trying to help us? Like, that makes no sense. Like, people, like, distressed, don't know what's going on.
The truth about the FEMA presence in Asheville, Swannanoa, and Black Mountain. While the media's making it out like FEMA's got a big presence here, let me tell you something. I've been here since day one, the night the storm came. I'm in Swannanoa right now, and I live right over there, and I have seen zero FEMA, okay?
And then we seen Glenn Beck, like, press FEMA. Like, why are you guys, like, putting the trucks where people can't find them? If people were supposed to be looking for... shout out to you, Mafioso, with the $5 donation. Salute, Piper Boy. Check out Eddie Griffith, the comedian, in a comical way. He is flaming the left. I think he's in a network, so I don't think I can play his stuff.
It's Facebook or if the
And then you got this lady, right? Because the media is like trying to hammer down on Kamala Harris, like, yo, you're not handling this. This is your Katrina. And you need to figure out how to handle it and get a hold on this. And then you get Hillary Clinton stepping out talking about the social media needs to be censored so that they can maintain power. You think I'm lying? Listen to what she said.
platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's not just the social and psychological effects.
You can show people this. It doesn't matter how much you show people this. Like, yo, they're trying to sanitize the internet. They're trying to stop this. They're trying to stop that. And then, like, meanwhile, at a Trump rally, there's a fight that just broke out at a Trump rally. Y'all is bugging, bro.
This state.
What? Tell me that did not just happen, bro. It says Donald Trump live. Massive fight breaks out at Trump rally. Trump versus Kamala, the election. It's crazy.
States. So she says focusing on protecting your people is selfish. I think she ought to look in the mirror.
And right now, Governor, just to conclude, you have what you need from the federal government as well as you feel like you have the resources in place. Is that correct?
Every request we've made, and I've been in contact with the president. I've been in contact with the FEMA director. You know, it's interesting. Harris is not even in the chain of command.
Yeah, what is she?
No role in this. I mean, the idea that I should.
Man, she's the vice president. Like, what would she really do? I like how he did that. Like, yo, like, she's not even in the chain of command. Like, yo, bruh. DeSantis is smoking her boots right now. He is talking. Talk to her.
From the federal government as well as you feel like you have the resources in place. Is that correct?
Every request we've made, and I've been in contact with the president. I've been in contact with the FEMA director. You know, it's interesting. Harris is not even in the chain of command.
Yeah, what is she even
doing?
doing?
Role in this. I mean, the idea that I should be like worrying about her when I'm focused on the task at hand is just, quite frankly, absurd. So yes, all of our requests have been answered. We have marshaled all state resources that are available to us. It's going to be a very robust response, but it's going to be a lot of damage, and we're bracing for that. I'd ask everyone to keep us in your prayers. We know we're going to get hit, but hopefully we can pray that this storm will weaken and do the least amount of damage possible.
All right.
Now I want to give a couple shout outs here. I know we've got the great Congresswoman Lisa McClain. Lisa, the auto industry instead of build it. And let's just be honest about that. Under Kamala Harris, the American auto industry is suffering more than it has.
Yeah, I think DeSantis is a governor that actually steps up and works for his people. From what it looks like to me, bro. Just like on the outside looking in, every time I see him in the news, he's doing something for his people.
20 years. And I want to read off just a couple of statistics, especially for those folks who are watching at home. Here in Michigan, Stellantis announced it would permanently lay off 2,500, the Michigan auto workers, the folks who make the Ram 1500 Classic, a great American automobile. Unfortunately, those Michigan auto workers lost their jobs. Last year, GM let go 1,300 workers at 2 Michigan plants. And we know that a lot of these companies are shipping manufacturing to Mexico and to China. Let's get back to the leadership of Donald Trump and make things in America and only in America.
But how would they do that, though? Like, me being, like, objective. How are you going to stop that from happening? Unless you can, like, do something to turn the economy around or force people to, you know, like, companies, like, what are you going to do to really stop that? And this is me being, like, super objective. Sometimes you can't stop companies from going overseas. You can, like, influence it somehow, but I don't know how you would really stop that.
Now, Ford, we see headlines consistently, is rolling back a lot of its EV production. And we know that thanks to Kamala Harris's...
You know, they just say, like, a lot of these politicians, and we all have to be careful as voters, man. Like, we want to believe these people, like, that they have our best interests at heart. And a lot of times they don't, man. Like, it doesn't matter if it's red or blue. A lot of times it's whoever's putting like money in their pockets at the end of the day. It's what it is, man. Somebody said tariffs. I don't know, man. What are they gonna do? Like tariff our own people? Like if he's saying General Motors laid off 1,300 people, how can they really stop that? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know how they can stop that.
Electric vehicle mandate, 117.
Yeah, but you said, oh, okay, tariffs for foreign manufacturing goods. Yeah, I mean, if they're hiring more people like overseas to build the cars, they could do that. And I guess it's like a hit to the company. The company's got to decide what. But you know, and me being realistic about production, right? This is gonna sound messed up. I think Americans to work it because America is so expensive. This is me looking at it from a business point of view. America is a very expensive place to live. I've been to Switzerland, like everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like in America, the cost of living has risen so much. Like a lot of companies, if they can't go into automation, it may make more sense for them to be able to survive as a business, to move overseas and do business. So it's like, how can you, with the rise of inflation, like the cost of, like, you know what I mean? Like if you like, how do you really mitigate that? Automation is like the way, but you don't want everything to be automated, right? And that's why you had like the port, you know, the unions at the port, like they were like upset about the potential for their jobs to be automated. And they wanted a raise or whatever within 5 years, they wanted a certain amount of money. So, you know, because they wanted to protect themselves. So it's like, I don't know, man. Like, this is a difficult situation, you know, because the world is moving more towards electronics. So, I mean, you're going to have your computer engineers. You're going to have your software developers, things like that. You know, you're going to have your nurses, you know what I mean? Your lawyers, your doctors, your EMS. You're going to have things like that. But, like, manufacturing, like I think maybe if this was like the 60s and 70s and 80s and you talking about manufacturing, it makes more sense. But as you move closer to like where we are right now, like looking at like, and the only reason I'm saying this is because like me being an investor now, when I listen to these shareholders meetings and they're talking about operating expenses and labor cost, operating expenses and labor costs, and you know what I'm saying? Like product and how much this costs and that costs. Yo, it's a lot on a company to really like keep a company here in America. And then like, that's why I say like a company like Tesla, that is an American company. Like the car is built in America, you know, Texas and California, and the most American car you can buy is a Tesla right now. And he gets like blowback, and you know, and a lot of those workers claim that they make like reasonable wages. So I don't know what Elon Musk is doing, but a lot of people may need to model after that. You know, I don't know, man. But you know, but if with the rise in interest rates, you're gonna have an issue to where people aren't gonna want to buy new cars. I don't want to buy, like I've got 2 new cars, but that was because of the tax. You know what I mean? Like $7,500 per Tesla that I bought. But a lot of people don't, you know what I mean? They can't just do that. They may be like, yo, like I want like a new Toyota Corolla, but I can't afford a new Toyota Corolla right now. The interest rates are too high. And I'm not about to pay like 5 or 6% for a car. And if I got an 850 credit score, I ain't doing it. You know, so I'm going to buy a used car. I'm going to find a car, you know what I mean? Online or something. And that ends up impacting the economy. So they got to figure out how to get the interest rates to a reasonable level and to keep more money in the people's pockets. Now, Donald Trump ended up saying something that was interesting, right? Because Kamala Harris her only thing is to, yo, like, we're going to make the rich pay their fair share. Democrats have been in office how many times? They've never been able to pass anything in Congress to that effect, right? Because they've got too many lobbyists in their ear. So Congress will never make the rich pay their fair share. But that's all she's saying, right? So I seen Donald Trump, he was on Twitter, and we all talked about it like in a different live, and we seen the video of him saying it. Maybe I need to play the video of him saying it, right? And he's saying something like, yo, in order, like, I would like to, for overtime, I don't want to tax people if they're going to be working overtime, because I feel like it's better for the economy if people keep money into their own pockets. Like, why isn't Kamala Harris saying anything like that? Why is Donald Trump saying that? Like, that makes no sense to me. Like, they should be the ones leading the way with that, not Donald Trump.
As part of our additional tax cuts, we will end all taxes on overtime. You know what that means? Think of that. Think of that.
And then, like, the Democratic Party, the problem that you're having, like, Kamala Harris, and this is me being 100% real, you're trying to make us believe that you for us. But the guy that you saying is for the corporations has a lot of plans for us. So I think they think they're talking to like 70 and 60-year-old people. They're not understanding. I don't think Kamala, look down there, she don't understand that you're talking to like people who don't have dementia, who don't have Alzheimer's, you know what I mean? Like, whose prefrontal cortex and everything's working. Our hippocampus, our memory is working really good. And our occipital lobe, we seeing like what you saying to us. Processing it. And you ain't making sense. You can go on The View and you can talk about your family on the Howard Stern show. What does your family have to do with what we're dealing with every day? And I will give like 60 Minutes like credit, because they asked her like, yo, people feel like things are too expensive right now. And the dude cornered her and she had no choice but to say prices are still too high. So if we're talking about manufacturing, right, and JD Vance is saying, oh, well, General Motors, they lost 1,300 jobs and all of this. The way I think to really kind of help things along, because the manufacturing is antiquated for the United States. For America to cost as much as it does to live here. Because remember, like, back in the day, like, your mom or something was paying like $600 a month for like mortgage or rent. You know what I'm saying? Like, now is crazy. Like, my mortgage is like $1,413 a month. That's just my mortgage. Right? When I was renting, it was like $1,600 a month. $1,17 a month. $1,617 a month. What I was renting in Nashville. And I had to buy a house. I'm like, yo, I can't do this anymore. I got to buy a house. I was lucky enough like to buy it before this administration got in. So I got like a lower interest rate. Now I wouldn't know what like right now, you got companies that they're feeling like, all right, so like buildings, whatever, they lease office space. After the pandemic, people was like staying home. People didn't want to go back to work. So companies, because they still had those leases for their office space, was trying to make people come back to work, and people didn't want to go back to work. So a lot of people that own the buildings, their business was starting to hurt. So they're deciding to buy up property and neighborhoods and homes. So like where I live at, they're trying to buy my house like for twice what I paid for it. Because they want to knock this house down and build 3 houses on the property. Or build like a big house on the property is what they want to do. But it's just like these businesses are coming up and they're trying to make Americans renters. Before it was like, renting office space now. Now they're like, we're going to make all of American renters. And people are having problems to where they can't even, like, in an emergency situation, they need to evacuate. In an emergency, they need to evacuate, but people are not evacuating because they don't have the money or the means to evacuate. That's a major issue. Meanwhile, like president, she's just flying around. She's going everywhere she want to go through. You know what I'm saying? Every state, everybody's kissing her butt. And she's saying the same lines every time she's being asked a question. Oh, my family, we came from a small town and she's a small business owner. The same rhetoric. Meanwhile, people cannot even afford to evacuate their homes for safety. Major problem. So then it goes back to JD Vance is talking about, oh, under this administration, we're losing jobs. But how do you bring them back? With the rise of living and the cost of everything. It's like the elephant in the room nobody wants to talk about. Everybody wants to flex and floss. Oh, I work 2 jobs and all this. But America is really, this is how they made America, right? This is just my point of view. I'm not saying it's facts. The Rothschilds and all of them, right? The education system, all of that, right? Fast forward it, women's lib, right? So they made it to where, because before, like, the man made enough money to be able to go to work. The woman could stay home, like, you know what I mean, educate the child and, you know, all of that. The men worked, brought home the bread. The woman, like, made sure everything was good at home. But they did women's, was it the Rothschilds? You know what I mean? All of that helped influence, like, women's lib. So they convinced women that they need to go out into the workforce. Now, whether, I'm not saying, like, hey, that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But I see a lot of people on TikTok crying and saying, like, oh, they wish that never happened because they don't want to work. They want to sit home. They want to play with their makeup, do their nails, talk to their friends, you know, and not have to worry about going to a job just to be able to afford to live. So they've made it to where they took the other parent out of the house. And the only person educating the child now that has time is a teacher that you don't even know. And they're teaching these kids whatever the system wants them to know. You might have time to see your kids just to say, oh, do your homework. You know what I mean? And maybe help them with your homework because both parents are working. Right? So it's a 2-parent household to be able to make ends meet with a lot of people in America. But they took it a step further than this, right? They use like the media, the music industry, the movies, right? To help families break up. So now, like, you know, the welfare system, whatever is there. So they don't want the male in the house. They give incentives for the male not to be in the house. And just in general, like, people are divorcing left and right, following after people. So now people are ending up like living alone and in a super expensive country. So they're either having roommates or they're forced to work 2 jobs. And women in America right now, a lot of them don't even want men. And they complaining about it. Oh, well, we got to, because y'all like control, you know what I mean? Conditioned yourself not to like men no more. A lot of them. Not everyone, but a lot of them. So now it's like 1-person households. It's crazy. And it, like, the price of living, the cost of living is not going down. People making like 25 cents, $1, you know, more an hour, like after a year. And that ain't enough to hedge against inflation. This is crazy. So now you got super expensive living. And it's like, no, they're not doing anything to control it. This is crazy. Somebody said, you are listening to, what are you talking about? Somebody said, I'm praying for God's people because at the end of the day, God is looking at what we do because we are, bro.
1,000 American auto jobs, a lot of them right here in Michigan, are under threat. Well, here's something different we're going to do when Donald J. Trump is president. Instead of forcing Americans to buy electric vehicles manufactured in China, we're going to let Americans buy whatever the hell they want to because this is America. We believe in freedom, and we believe in letting people choose their own automobile. And of course, my friends, when they do pick the automobile that they want and that they choose, we know they're going to buy something made in the great state of Michigan. They're going to buy American because that's what so many Americans want, the best products.
Bro, the best products are not made in America. They're not. They're not. It's not like going against you, Vance. I'm just saying, like, they're not. When is the last time you had, like, something from America? I had a Camaro. That thing like was not reliable. You know what I mean? I had like what was it before I got any money? I had like a Ford Taurus. That car was not reliable at all. Like I got Teslas and they not low key. You know what I mean? Something always going wrong with them. You know what I mean? Like, and I got an appointment like to go back to the Tesla dealership for one of them. So it's like we don't build them like Camrys, Toyotas. Them are reliable. Hondas, like Hondas, those are reliable. You know what I mean? So like we don't really build like Japan like builds reliability. Like, you know, I get into I don't know, man, like movie theaters and stuff like that. Now I'm at that stage like I just want to like watch movies. And I've got like theater receivers. I've got like a Marantz like in the house, a Cinema 50, it's like $2,500. It just processes the audio. Like for the movies, I've got like a Denon 3800H in one of the rooms, an Onkyo RZ50, and then like in here, I've got an Anthem MRX 1140. It's like a $4,200 theater receiver for my speakers. It's the Japanese one that I have no problems with. You know what I mean? Like it's just like I think Japan just does better than America. I don't know what it is. You know, and then like America is like, somebody said my Chevy truck was made in Mississippi. If you're talking about trucks, Ford F-150. I had one of them. I love that truck, bro. Like I should have never got rid of it. It was like right before the pandemic, y'all. Like I had got it from CarMax. It was like $26,000 or something like that. But it didn't really have any miles. They were scared because it was the pandemic. They didn't know if they was going to sell any cars. So I didn't really have like that many miles on it at all. I think it was like 17,000 miles or something like that. It was like low for a truck, you know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, let me get that. It was a 4-wheel drive, but it was like a STX. It wasn't like a Lariat or nothing like that. But it had like the 4 doors. It had like a Flowmaster exhaust on it. It had the 5.0. Like, yeah, bruh. It was like a 2017. But like for that price at that time, bro, it was a deal. I should have never. But CarMax did something. They were just like, yo, you can take it back. Like if you don't like it, you can take it back. And I'm like, all right. But it was like the pandemic had hit, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'll end up losing my job or something. So, you know, I took it back because I dropped like mad money. I think not mad money. It was like 10 grand I put down on it or something like that. And so, because I don't like big car notes. Like, so I put a lot of money down, but they gave me my money back. And so I wish I would have kept that truck, bro. Because then like right after the pandemic, the price shot up. But I love that truck though. Like that Ford F-150 was roomy. You know what I mean? Hey, y'all hit the like button. But we all just Americans living regular life, paying attention to what these guys are saying. They're all politicians, bro.
Now, I don't know if y'all saw this, but I guess this morning, Kamala Harris had an interview with The View.
I'll say this about JD Vance before we get into this. I seen the interview with The View, and I'm not about to play it on here because they real finicky and they are super liberal. So if you say anything in favor of Trump with The View, like they may end up like hitting you with a copyright. So I don't want to do that. Very softball interview. They went in on Trump before Kamala Harris even started going in on Trump. So like that interview, like I don't think should hold any merit or any weight. As far as JD Vance, I've said this before, like if you don't know anything about him, read up about him. This dude has been through the ringer. Like he's been through a lot, man. You know, so to see him where he is amazing. It's a true testament to like America. Don't just think, oh, this is just a white guy or whatever, bro. He's been through more. Like his family life, I don't even want to say like it was insane. You know, it's enough to make somebody literally go crazy, like how he was brought up. And for him to be like a politician dealing with this, like, I don't know, man. I have hope in him.
I wait a second. I am shocked that we don't have a whole lot of The View watchers here in the Motor City. Not, sir, you don't watch Kamala Harris on The View? No? Well, I do the job sometimes that you folks don't want to. I actually watched Kamala Harris's interview on The View. Now, I got to tell you, to go into The View as a Democrat politician, that's like the easiest interview in the entire world, right? I mean, if I walked into The View, that'd be like walking into this room with an Ohio State jersey, right? That's something you just don't do.
Yeah, or like a Stephen Colbert interview. Like, dude's super liberal.
But she walks into The View, and you would think that would be an interview, and you know what they asked her? They gave her a softball, an easy question. Really propaganda. They said, can you name a single thing where you disagree with Joe Biden? Now, let's back up for a second, because remember, Kamala Harris's entire campaign is to pretend that she hasn't been the vice president for the last 3.5 years. You know, she stands up before crowds, and she'll say, on day one, we're going to tackle the affordability crisis. On day one, we're going to secure the border. And you listen to her for 5 minutes, and you think, Kamala, are you going to vote for Donald Trump? Because you've been vice president for 1,400 days. You haven't done anything.
And that, I mean, him saying like things like that is so simple but effective. You're literally in office. And you have, like, what have you done to fix any of this? Like, what? Like, you're not really even making sense to me no more. Bro, like, the prices of everything is crazy. What have you done? There's wars going on. What have you done? Oh, we want to text rich. Okay, you've been in office for like 4 years. Why have you not like had Congress change this? This tax code. You think it sounds good to the American people? Because I'm going to keep it real, right? Americans don't, you know, if you're working class America, you don't like rich people that don't work. They got it easy. They could just give their kids like millions of dollars and they driving Range Rovers and you working 40 hours a week of your life. Like, we don't like that. We be feeling some type of way. And they prey on that. These Democrats prey on that. So they're going to come to you like, oh, well, we're going to make them pay their fair share. But they never do. And then they hire 86,000 IRS agents to come after you. This is what they do. Because you're going to be the one giving the money that they can send over there to Ukraine or Israel, whatever they feel like doing, and pledge money, but then give you $750 that you can apply for. And look at y'all like y'all silly. And then you get like rappers like Lil Scrappy. I'm voting for Kamala because she's black. Stephen A. Smith. Just because she's black, he's voting for her. You got a sports channel and you talking about like, these dudes is ridiculous. Shaq coming out like what are y'all doing? Not Shaq, but what's his name? Michael Johnson. I can't remember his name. Like, these people be coming out the woodworks trying to show their support for her, and she literally is doing nothing. Like, Quavo, what do you like? When I care about Quavo's opinion, Quavo was moving real dumb in Vegas. Care about his opinion, Megan Thee Stallion. What kind of opinion do you care from Megan Thee Stallion? So all she do is dance and shake herself. That's it. It's ridiculous. Somebody said $750 that you can apply for, but you won't ever get. Then Elon Musk is trying to send Starlink internet down there, and they won't even let his people put the internet in there. Then we got a video of Glenn Beck confronting FEMA. It's ridiculous. And then this lady does an interview, a photo op with the FEMA people. Unreal.
So you think after all this time of thinking about how she would do things differently from Joe Biden, she would have a well-prepared answer for the interviewers on The View. Well, they asked her one thing you would do differently from Joe Biden. You know what she said?
Here's how.
I can't really think of anything off the top of my head.
Yeah, they asked her that on The View. They were like, well, what would you do differently than Joe Biden? She was just like, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Because you don't have a brain. Like, you know what I'm saying? What you mean you can't think of anything you would have? So what is the point of you being in here? Like, what, bruh? Hey, yo, if y'all start talking about cryptocurrency, I'm kicking you out. We not doing that in here. We not scamming or nothing in here.
Now, in her defense, I'm not sure she could think of anything off the top of her head, whether about Joe Biden's policies or anything else.
I know, like,
but
she can't think of nothing.
think about this. For the last 2 months, Kamala Harris has been telling the American people that she's going to do things differently than Joe Biden, where she increased the cost of groceries by 25%. The average Michigan family is paying $1,000 more per month. That's $12,000 per year to afford today what they could have afforded when Donald Trump was president. The border is wide open thanks to our...
Hey, y'all, hit the like button if y'all can. I appreciate it. We got like 26,000 views. Hit the super chat if y'all can. Appreciate it.
illustrious borders are Kamala Harris, and her entire campaign has been to pretend that she doesn't bear any responsibility for the policies, even though she's the sitting vice president. And here's the difference between Kamala...
And you literally, like, a lot of these women, you can't even tell them that, like, ma'am, I know you want to vote for her because she's a woman, but you're complaining of a lot of things right now. And, you know, you're complaining about grocery prices. You complain. She's literally in office right now, and she's done nothing about it. But she's a woman!
Harris and Donald Trump, there are so many of them. But the big difference is that Donald Trump has a record to be proud of, and Kamala Harris has a record to be ashamed of. You know, because when President Trump stands before a crowd, he doesn't try to pretend that he wasn't president, but she tries to pretend she wasn't the vice president.
How come this dude can go off the cuff and just, like, talk, but Kamala can't? If I'm looking at, like, if somebody's got to stand across from Vladimir Putin, who do you want standing on? Like, this is what y'all don't be thinking. Like, the people that just want to vote for her just because she's black or just because she's a woman. If she's standing across like this soup, bro, hold on, bro. You want her, well, Vladimir Putin actually wants her in, allegedly. You want this nice lady sitting across from a warlord? You think she's going to be able to move a warlord? Or do you want to, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to make it gender-based, but do you want, like, a strong figure like a Trump that take a no-nonsense approach? Like, no, this is a business. This is what it is. Or if something, ends up happening to Trump and this guy takes over, I'd rather him stand on the other side of Vladimir Putin. That's just me.
He doesn't pretend that he didn't have any decision-making authority over his own administration, because of course he did, but Kamala Harris runs from her own administration. And you know why Donald Trump isn't afraid to talk about his record? Well, number one, because he's actually honest with the American people, but most importantly, it's a record to be damn proud of. Low inflation, rising take-home pay, and a secure southern border. So for anybody watching at home, just ask yourself the very basic question. Kamala Harris has been in charge for 4 years. Are you better off?
Bro, I got 27,000 views on this video. Why don't we have 100,000? YouTube trying to suppress this, bro.
Off than you were 4 years ago? And I think any honest person would say the answer is no. And you know who is certainly not better off than they were 4 years ago? Michigan auto workers. I mean, we just walked through thousands of job losses just in the state of Michigan because Kamala Harris would rather tax American citizens and force you to buy electric vehicles made in China. You know what Donald Trump wants to do? He wants to reward Michigan auto workers. He wants to give working people in this country a tax cut, and he wants to let Americans buy the cars that Americans want to buy. And we know.
All right, I get it. All right, enough with the auto worker crap, bro. What about everybody else? I don't work at a car place. You know what I mean? Like, talk to me about something.
Here's how Kamala Harris is going to pay for her big spending plans. Listen.
But pardon me, Madam Vice
let me fast forward.
President, the question was, how are you going to pay for it?
Well, one of the things is I'm going to make sure that the richest among us who can afford it pay their fair share in taxes.
This lady is unbelievable. This is literally insane.
All right, let's.
If you guys elect this lady, bro, all you got to do is smile at people and they just
All right, let's bring in
believe anything you say. That is crazy.
Kevin O'Leary, O'Leary Ventures chairman. Kevin, good to see you. I want to play this exchange from The View with Kamala Harris. Listen to this.
If anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
I mean, Kevin, even for creativity's sake, wouldn't you want to have one thing that you do differently? Is that going to win over voters who are skeptical of her right now?
What would you do differently than Donald Trump? Not one thing that comes to mind. Like, this lady.
She's in a difficult place on that one because she owns it. She's owned it for the last 3.5 years. It's hard to say, look, I'm the new boss in town, and I would have done everything differently because that's the right answer because she's being asked to do that now, to change everything and not own where we're at. The issue that is really boiling down here is, should she do all interviews everywhere? Because in terms of reaching undecided voters in 7 states and 43 counties, there's no one outlet that does it all. You got to hit everything. And sometimes you're going to get criticized and sometimes it's going to be for you. But that's the nature of social media.
And, I'll give her credit. Like, she is doing a lot of work, a lot of groundwork in towards of trying to get elected. I think she's not handling this FEMA situation appropriately. I don't think she is. I don't think she's, like, really telling us anything, like, policy-wise. Like, I don't think she is. But, I like she's in a good mood. Other than that, like, I mean, couldn't they have gotten anybody else to do this with a brain?
And media today. Now, if
she is she wins, she is lucky that she does not have another debate with Trump, because they're alleging that she got fed all the questions before that debate, and then she had that earring that had the mic in it. You know what I mean? So, but they're alleging, that was going on. If she had like a real debate. And you got to think, this lady is scared of Fox News. She is petrified of Fox News. How many times have we seen Donald Trump go to the left side of the aisle, their news networks? Countless times. He even, like, with the debate, went over there. They were fact-checking him. He was set up, and he still went over there. She is being coddled, babied, going on the Ellen DeGeneres show, going on The View, going on the Howard Stern show. Like, what are we doing? Asking Kai Senate if she can come on. Like, what is she doing, bro? Hold on. My blood pressure getting high, bro. Like, I cannot believe this. I can't believe this is even a possibility right now. It's crazy.
It's the presidency. People are going to say the strategy was brilliant by straight arming anybody she'd want to talk to. But all these kumbaya, heavy sugar, no protein interviews may have a horrible price because you never reached the audience you needed to. And I think she has 30 days left, or 28, 27 days to change that strategy and start taking interviews from you. And so what if she fumbles a few questions?
She's not going to do that. And she's doing the Oprah Winfrey interview, most left. Oh my God, bro. Y'all don't see this? Vladimir Putin is not about to be your best friend. They want you elected so he can run over you. Oprah do look good right here. I'm just saying what it is. Shout out to Oprah.
Doesn't matter. She has to hit everybody, and I think that could be a mistake.
Well, Kevin, you heard the soundbite from 60 Minutes. Bill Whitaker pressed her pretty hard. She had no answers to how she's going to pay for her economic plan. And he really pressed her and when she said, well, it's about the rich paying their fair share once again. And he said, but you have to get that through Congress. I mean, ultimately, that was a pretty serious interview. He pushed back. People were watching that. She really doesn't have any heft to her economic plan or a path forward.
Yeah, that was the wrong answer. The right answer for that question always, regardless of which candidate you are, is you always say, we're going to grow our way out of this deficit. My plan will lift the economy so that it grows faster than it's growing right now, and nobody can deal with that. Nobody can criticize it. She made a mistake.
That's all she had to say. Bro, she don't have a brain cell in her brain, bro.
Mistake there, and obviously that's the wrong answer, and you're playing the soundbite. It's all over social media right now. always answer with the growth question. Not that I want to coach her, but you always say you're going to grow out of it. She didn't do it. Now she's paying the price.
I want to talk about the port strike that has temporarily been resolved. Kevin, there was an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal talking about between 2019 and 2021, paid dock worker hours grew twice as fast at fully automated facilities than they did with non-automated terminals. Can you dispel this myth that somehow automation means that dock workers don't get wage increases?
Not only will I dispel it, those workers should demand automation in their ports. That adds productivity and raises the average salary because they become much more trained employees on new systems and
Exactly, yeah.
procedures and protocols. It's been proven in Europe and in Asia where their ports are far more productive. We in America should have the most productive ports because it's the essence of the economy. We need to sell goods and bring them in all the time, and we need our ports to be completely digitized. This idea that they lose from digitization and productivity is nuts.
That's what I was wanting to say that. Like, shout out to you, bro. Like when they say, oh, well, if they're trying to automate, yes, they're trying to automate it, bro. You got our goods and services. You know what I'm saying? Like the products that coming in, import and export. They need it automated so it could be done more efficiently and faster. And less expensive. That can help bring the cost down. Because like people who are importing and exporting, they don't have to, have like these exorbitant fees because they paying all y'all. And then they can lower the prices for us. I'm sorry, port workers. Or like if they making it automated, learn how to work the robots. This is the problem. Yeah, y'all want American workers. This is what you're going to deal with. High prices all across the board. It's got to be some balance. Why are people afraid of education? They still need like humans to, you know what I mean? Like operate the machines and some things need to be automated, bro. It's just what it is.
Robots are just one tool. It's who controls the robots.
Somebody's saying the great replacement, but somebody got to control them robots, bro.
Robots are just one tool. It's who controls the robots, who manages them, who actually works on these systems. Over the next decade, those people are going to make a lot more money than the average dock worker because those
go to school. Like what? You couldn't get like a computer. What is it? Like a computer like certificate? Like, you know what I mean? One of them like computer things in like a year. You know what I mean? Not like you ain't gonna be like a complete computer engineer, but you can like learn that stuff. Like, bro, like learn something different.
Those average dock workers can train up. That's how you sell it. Someone's making a mistake. They're not. I should go there and sell it myself, I decided.
The other crisis that we're dealing with, Kevin, is the impact of these brutal storms that are hitting the South. FEMA being criticized for its response to Helene as we're waiting for Milton to hit the west coast of Florida right now. Ultimately, with the strike resolved, I feel like the Biden-Harris administration is going to bear some of the responsibility for this. FEMA is a government agency, and people in this country are not getting the help that they need.
The biggest criticism of FEMA was something they saw that came out of the left wing. They didn't see it coming. There are different pools of capital in there, some of which go to immigrants and perhaps not American citizens. And so anybody can criticize in a time of need where Americans, their homes are being wiped out and their property destroyed, that any money the government has should go to an American citizen. Of course, that makes sense. And if there are pools of capital there, they should be realigned to take care of America first. You know that's going to be the criticism, and you know that narrative is going to win. Because when you see these images of people being completely clobbered in Florida, wiped out, all their possessions gone, why would you want any money that is that's extracted from taxpayers not to go to them? I actually think they should take the heat and they should fix it. This is something Congress should fix. When America's in trouble, you take care of America first and Americans before anybody else.
Exactly. Oh, they said this dude was evil. I'm like, he got a better plan than her. Way better plan than her.
As vice president, you've worked very closely with President Biden for almost 4 years. He was here on our show, and he said there wasn't a single thing that he did that you could not do. What do you think would be the biggest specific difference between your presidency and a Biden presidency?
Well, we're obviously two different people, and we have a lot of shared life experiences. For example, the way we feel about our family and our parents and so on. But we're also different people, and I will bring those sensibilities to how I lead. For example, I know we're going to talk today, but one of the issues that I'm very focused on is what we do around home health care.
Yes.
I have done a lot of work as it relates to, sadly, but violence against women and children. I care a lot about that.
She does not look like she's 60.
I love our...
I'm sorry, Candace Owens. She might be black, bro. Like, she don't look... Hey, chat, does she look 60? She look like she in her 50s.
Small business.
I don't know.
My mother raised my sister and me predominantly, but we had what we called a second mother who lived 2 houses down, who helped my mother raise us. She was a small business owner. I love...
There we go with the small business owner thing. She was a small business owner. I love small business owners. The queen of word salad is insane out here. And so the question is...
Thank you!
Were you in the room? And how is it that you're governing compared to Joe Biden? Specifically, are you and Biden a pair? Because I know that it's a lot of people that made comments out here. And even when you hold her accountable for some of the things that even J.D. Vance was saying while they were on the debate stage with Tim Walz, and in his closing argument, he said, listen, what makes you think you're going to get anything different than what you've experienced over the last 3.5 years? I've heard Roland Martin sit there and go off on Jermaine Dupri and say, well, she's not the president. No, she works hand in hand, and she's admitted that she's been in the room for overwhelmingly the majority of the decision. So with that being said, the question then becomes, how are we getting anything different than what we've experienced over the last 3.5 years? Minus.
It's like, bro, you stopped this at the perfect time of her looking up like, oh, hoping she could get, like, come on, bro. She's literally not going to do anything different. And even if she would have said, oh, well, this is what I would have did differently, it would really contradict her, because she did another interview and she said something like, it may have been in the same interview, she was just like, I was like hands-on with all of the decisions that was made by Joe Biden. So she really can't say she did anything different, or she would do anything different.
It's all of the same stories that we've seen with, oh, my mother's friend was a small business owner. Let's see if we can get some real substance out of this.
Of our small businesses. And so the influence of a personal experience will have its impact on the presidency.
Well, if anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact. The work that...
Yeah, it was this one. Yeah. She really just jammed herself up. Like, she really can't do nothing.
We have done, for example, capping the cost of insulin at $35 a month for our seniors is something I care deeply about allowing Medicare.
But what a lot of people don't know, and this is my problem with Trump was already in the process of doing that. Like, he had went after Purdue, and he was trying to lower the cost of things like this. Try to make it to where you can, like, force insurance companies to allow you to have generic forms, so you didn't have to just have super expensive, forms of medications and stuff like that. So, like, that's what I think the Trump administration needs to talk about that. But I think they want to talk about more so, what he has done, more so than what he was trying to do. So I don't know, but nobody, and she's not going to do like a real interview where people will be like, okay, well, what made y'all shut down the whole world for a year? You don't think that impacted? Now all we got is like Walmarts and Targets and major big companies. You put like a lot of mom and pop stores out of business. Like when you did that. And Trump was saying like, all y'all need to do is take care of yourself, social distance, wear your mask. If you feel like you need to, take some hydrochloroquine and you'll be fine. These dudes decided to shut down the country and force people to get jabbed.
To negotiate drug prices and bring the cost of prescription medication down for seniors, but my intention...
Hey, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel.
...is to expand that for all Americans. The work we have done to invest in American industries, whether it be in terms of manufacturing and creating almost 800,000 new jobs around manufacturing, those were all a shared priority.
Well, let's Kamala, and I'm calling you Kamala because for all of those who are mispronouncing it, I want you all to know how to say it. There you go. But let's talk about something you would...
Nothing else to see here. We don't really care about these hyenas on The View. But more importantly, now that we're getting closer to the election.
Yo, he said we don't care about these hyenas on The View. Shout out to you, bruh.
She's telling you who she is. Look, we've seen all of the talking points about the caps of insulin and all of the small business owners and all of this stuff. We've seen that at every campaign rally. We've seen it in every interview. We see the talking points. We've memorized it just as much as she said it, so there's nothing new there. But the real question that we wanted to ask ourselves is, how would you do things differently considering that you were a part of every decision, yet you want to take all of the accolades from things that you think are a talking point that then would sway people to vote for you, but you don't want none of the headache that comes along with any of the other decisions that was a part of it? How would you govern any differently than the Biden administration, the Harris-Biden administration, when it's a Harris-Waltz administration, if that's what you was to win as far as the president of the United States of America? And the answer is nothing. Nothing. There will be no difference. So, hated them.
That is a major problem, y'all. Major problem.
Love it. Whatever you're experiencing and whatever your life was like over the last 3.5 years, that's what you can expect more of, except for an exaggerated version of it, because I believe that Kamala Harris is more liberal and more of a socialist than Joe Biden ever could be. Whatever you experience over the last 3.5 years. So when they made the comparison.
Bro, I don't think she knows anything. I don't think there's like one thing like is in this lady's brain, bro.
Comparisons in a debate, when they make the comparisons on the rallies, when they make the comparisons overall, what they're basically telling you is that you're not going to experience anything differently except for a different type of chameleon that they parade out there. And what you experience 2021 through 2023, 24, 25, whatever it is, over the next 4 to 8 years, because she's going to run for another term if she was to win, which we know that she's not going to win. But we just want to bring you the information so you can make an informed.
Hey, bro, I don't know if she... I didn't think Biden was going to win, bro. That's me keeping it all the way G. I don't know, bro.
Decision for yourself. You need to compare their term, which is a Kamala Harris Biden term, to what's happening with Trump and what you experienced 2016 through 2020. Right or wrong, good or bad, there's nothing that you can expect differently except for more liberal policies, more things as far as advocating for women in the alphabet community to do things that's not in the best interest of the family. You're not going to see any changes as far as your lifestyle benefit. If you think that these people have the solution to making sure that they pull you out of poverty or the middle class and for you to get a leg up and to get in a comparison position with somebody that's rich or somebody that's the top 1%, you need to save yourself.
Yeah, you need to think again. If you think they about to help you. It's crazy, bro.
We just need other people to get on board with that, Kevin. Switch gears with me here. I want to talk about sort of just big antitrust for a moment. Federal judge late last night ruled that Google has to open. Madison.
Good morning.
You know, I found out something that's I don't even know if I could say this, bro. Let me not do that. Let me not do that. Let me not do that.
Dorm rooms listening to Tupac. He was 11 years old when she was in the dorms and when he cut his first paint job, but that doesn't make her what she claims. And we have somebody that has a fabricated reality. I was just mentioning it a minute or two ago. She talks about she was that child on the bus integrating the schools. And if this was in California, I don't get it, because at that point I was a school teacher in LA, California, and we didn't have segregated schools. When she got in kindergarten, first, I was a playground director with the city school system. We didn't have segregated schools in the entirety of California. Both of my parents were school teachers. What they did is they shuffled the teachers around, but you went to school in your neighborhood. So I don't know where that study came in. So smoking dope in the dorm rooms, listening to Tupac. He was 11 years old when she was in the dorms, and when he cut his first single or release, he was 21. And
Joe, he does not like Kamala Harris, bro. He cannot stand her, man. He been lighting her up.
You know what I'm talking about, some of the things that are out there. That's the same thing they did with the Germans in the 1920s and 1930s. Standard of proof was not beyond a reasonable doubt. 7 of his descendants were U.S. presidents. 1 was a U.S. vice president. One was a candidate for U.S. vice president. One you find is a notorious billionaire, and one's a famous actor. Now, let's deal with Barack Obama and how he gets to be so wealthy. His grandfather, maternal grandfather, was first cousin to George Herbert Walker Bush, President of the United States. George Herbert Walker Bush and Obama's maternal grandfather were nephews of George Herbert Walker, after whom the first Bush president was named. George Herbert Walker founded Halliburton in 1946. Halliburton was into energy development. George Walker Bush, the son of George Herbert Walker, was president of the United States. He was a cousin of Barack Obama, who at the time, most of the time, was known as Barry Soetoro. Barry Soetoro was his stepfather. All right? Hold that for a minute. Dick Cheney was not flunky to George W. Bush. He had been CEO of Halliburton, but he was CEO of his uncle's corporation. And he was also George W. Bush's cousin, and he was George Herbert.
Bro, go in on Kamala, bro.
States doesn't get paid but 400 and something. I'm preacher, and I know what that is, and or he stays with her brother. I mean, he did. George Herbert Walker Bush is run the #1 propaganda engine in the world, which is Hollywood. So they're doing this thing where they create a villain. They've taken somebody that black folk who are into something, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, all of the black civil rights leaders, all of the rap artists, all of the black entertainers, they love to hang with Trump. He didn't do anything any differently now, but the media has made him a Baba Yaga, so everybody thinks he's a pariah because
Yo, have y'all heard this? I wanted to show y'all. I'm kind of.
That is just coming in from the Justice Department. A man from Afghanistan living in Oklahoma City on a visa is now charged with planning an Election Day terrorist attack targeting large gatherings here in the U.S., and this is on behalf of ISIS. Officials say the 27-year-old suspect.
It says it's very sad that our government has lied to us about so many things and for so long that it's almost impossible to trust them about anything.
There's some breaking news that is just coming in from the Justice Department. A man from Afghanistan living in Oklahoma City on a visa is now charged with planning an Election Day terrorist attack targeting large gatherings here.
Bro, y'all let somebody over here from.
Here in the U.S., and this is on behalf of ISIS. Officials say the 27-year-old suspect was planning to sell off his family's assets to purchase AK-47 rifles and stage an attack. FBI Director Christopher Wray says agents stopped him before anyone was hurt.
It's crazy.
Lie long enough and loud enough, you can get anybody to believe it. And they've been telling that tale for a long damn time. And we have our loyal people who no longer understand that politics is supposed to be about benefit. Politics to them becomes a team that you can be on, somebody you're supposed to be perpetually loyal to. So if anybody on your team is doing something, you rally around the damn flag.
I think they talk about it. They may recycle the same news.
Breaking news just coming into the newsroom. An Afghan national has been arrested for plotting a terror attack on Election Day.
That suspect living in Oklahoma City. KOCO's Evan Onstott joins us now. Evan, according to the U.S. Department of Justice, he was going to carry out this attack in the name of ISIS.
That's right. The DOJ in just the past hour announcing charges against this man right here, 27-year-old Nasir Ahmad Tawhidi. According to a criminal complaint filed today, Tawhidi was arrested after attempting to buy AK-47s, magazines, and ammunition. As part of the plot, the defendant allegedly took steps to liquidate his family's assets and resettle members of his family overseas. We're told.
This is crazy.
An Afghan man was arrested in Oklahoma for allegedly plotting an Election Day terrorist attack. And this is according to U.S. Department of Justice. The man identified as 27-year-old Nasir Ahmad Tawhidi has been living in Oklahoma City since entering the U.S. in 2021.
Bro, I'm staying away from Oklahoma City, bro.
On a special immigration. This visa program admits...
He's on special immigration.
the maximum 50 people a year. It is available to people who worked with the U.S. Armed Forces or under Chief of Mission Authority as a translator or interpreter in Iraq or Afghanistan. Now, according to the indictment, Tawhidi searched online for information on how to access cameras in the capital, Washington, D.C., and for states that did not require a license to get a firearm. He also...
Yeah, this is crazy, bro. Hey, yo, shout out to everybody. I'm about to get off here. I kept y'all long enough. We've been on here for like 2 hours. I think we got like, let me see how many views we got, y'all. We got 36,400 views. I want to say shout out to Sugar Black for coming in. He said, these people have different beliefs, principles, and values. They dangerous. Tim Jones said he was going to sell all 5 goats and some apricots. Missy B420 said it's everywhere. And then, hold on. Tim Jones said, watch the guy beating a Trump's cousin or something who's just a patsy. So I don't know, man. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Thanks for everybody for coming in. The chat's been lit up and watching.